to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365, and free to air all night Comsat. I am Uyi Agmofwebe. President Bola Tinubu has announced the establishment of a disaster relief fund in Maiduguri, Borno State, to assist the Nigerian citizens impacted by floods and other disasters. The president announced this at the Borno Government House when he visited the state to sympathize with the government and people over the recent flooding from Alau Dam. Sharada J has details.
President Bola Tinubu visited the Shehu of Borno in an internally displaced persons camp at the government secondary school in Maiduguri and had a drive-through of the areas affected by the disaster. President Tinubu, who urged the private sector to contribute to the fund, says the relief fund is expedient as the climate becomes more unpredictable and many places in the country are vulnerable to its vagaries.
People of Borno, Yobe, and other affected states, I say we will pull together a very good program for Nigeria to recover from this calamity and do better in the interest of our people. I've been thinking of how do we tackle this kind of a problem, whether it's climate change or any other means. But there must be a disaster relief fund.
At the palace, the Shehu of Borno, Abubakar El-Kanami, thanked the president for the honor of visiting the state after the vice president, Kashim Shettima, has earlier represented him. The Shehu of Borno urged the president to investigate the cause of the Alau Dam collapse and overflow into the town to prevent a recurrence.
Two is one. That is, to find out the root cause of this flooding and address appropriately so as to avoid future occurrence, as over 80% of this town has been affected by this disaster.
The governor of Borno State thanked the president for the visit and commended the prompt intervention of the federal government agencies, particularly NEMA, and the military's theater command in evacuating stranded victims.
The magnitude of the damage we have, as it has been said by His Royal Highness, the Shehu of Borno, we want you to look into the possibility of reconstructing this dam with new hydraulic structures that can handle natural flow of water.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, who accompanied the president on the visit, says the National Assembly will collaborate with the executive to establish the fund. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
Well, thank you, Sharon. In the meantime, former Senate leader Mohammed Ali Odome has pledged 50 million naira to assist those affected by the recent flooding in Maiduguri, capital of Borno State, as part of efforts to alleviate their suffering. In a show of solidarity, leaders and stakeholders from southern Borno are also taking steps to raise funds for the flood victims. Odome, in a statement, expressed deep concern for those impacted by the flood, urging the federal government to recognize the flooding as a national crisis and to establish daily feeding centers for those in need. Elsewhere, President Bola Tinubu has pledged his commitment to assist the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, in establishing an efficient digital identity system. The commission stated that the number of Nigerians with national identification numbers has increased to 110 million, indicative of a 2.39% increase from the 107.34 million that was recorded at the end of May 2024. The president also stressed that every Nigeria's unique proof of identity underscores their fundamental rights to protection, sustenance, and support as recognized members of society, regardless of their location. Yesterday was observed as Eid al-Maulud, the birthday of Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, by millions of Muslims around the world. The celebration of Eid al-Maulud is an opportunity for Muslims to reflect on the teachings and the life of the Holy Prophets, as serves as a reminder of his role in guiding humanity toward righteousness and moral integrity. The ongoing nationwide fuel crisis has forced the Independent National Electoral Commission to increase its financial commitment to the transport unions that would be involved in Saturday's Edo State governorship election. The adjustment was in response to the recent surge in fuel prices, which has impacted the operational cost of transport companies. In the meantime, Edo State People's Democratic Party governorship candidate Asue Ighodalo says Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, does not have the power to determine the next governor of the state. His statement was in response to Wike's claim that he told Governor Godwin Obaseki when he came with the PDP candidate that he would not back Ighodalo at the September 21 governorship poll in the state. In a related development, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has urged Edo residents to vote for the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Dr. Asue Ighodalo, and his running mates, Osarodion Ogie, in the upcoming gubernatorial election slated for this Saturday. At rallies in the Gara, Lankbase, and Ibido in Akoko Edo local government area of the state, Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan appealed to Ebira people and other tribes to support the PDP to ensure continued dividend of democracy in the state. Benin City was a beehive of activity as the All Progressives Congress APC governorship campaign rally climaxed at the University of Benin Sports Complex. In attendance were 7 APC state governors of Imo, Nasarawa, Ogun, Kogi, Jigawa, and Cross River states, led by Vice President Kashim Shettima, alongside Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the party's national chairman, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje. Let's turn to other stories for you now. Imo State's Governor Hope Uzodinma has assured that the All Progressives Congress aspirants who had contested the party's primaries for the local government election but failed to scale through will be refunded the money spent on purchase of forms. Governor Uzodinma gave the assurance after attending Sunday Mass at the Government House Chapel in Owerri, the state's capital. Kikelamo Okere tells us more.
The Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma maintained that there is no going back on the date for the local government elections, insisting that September 21st, 2024 remains sacrosanct, pledging that only the funds spent on purchasing form from the party will be refunded, excluding expenses made without receipt, such as those spent on consultations.
I want to call on all our leaders to bear with me and make this sacrifice. All the people that apply as aspirants to run for either councillorship or chairmanship in the local government election who are not successful, their monies will be refunded tomorrow.
The governor also pleaded with leaders whose expectation may have been disappointed to bear with the party and make sacrifice for the sake of the party in particular and the state in general.
We want to use the opportunity of this local government election to push back government to the grassroots, to encourage participation of the grassroots, to see whether some of our leaders will consider going back home to break from their homes.
Governor Hope Uzodinma further reassures the public that the election will proceed as scheduled, the Imo State Electoral Commission, on September 21st, 2024. Kikelamo Okere, Global Television News.
In the meantime, let's turn to business now. The Nigeria National Premium Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has released another version of the breakdown of the estimated price of petrol brought from the Dangote refinery. In a statement, the company gave a breakdown of the refined petrol products it bought from the refinery on September 15. The estimated prices are based on negotiated terms between NNPC Limited and Dangote Refinery, which recognized the current international gasoline prices and the prevailing foreign exchange rate in line with the provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act 2021. Meanwhile, the price of premium motor spirit, regularly called petrol, produced by the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and released by the Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, may justify the importation of the commodity into Nigeria, that's according to oil marketers. Dealers also stated that vessels of imported petrol should start arriving in Nigeria from Tuesday, as they called for transparency in the pricing of the products produced by the Dangote Refinery. Still in the oil and gas sector, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority has sealed filling stations and fined no fewer than 3 marketers for allegedly receiving stolen fuels following operations conducted by the personnel of the Nigeria Customs Service in August of 2024. The operations led to the interception of several petrol trucks, sealing of 12 retail outlets, and the seizure of 466,000 liters of petrol and 23 vehicles. The federal government has reassured civil servants that the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System, also called IPPIS database, remains secure and has not been compromised. This assurance came from a statement issued by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation through the Director of Press and Public Relations, Bawa Mokwa, in an apparent reaction to a news report that claimed the IPPIS payroll validation section on the official website of the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation had been hijacked by an unknown hacker. On the foreign scene, Hong Kong has experienced its hottest Mid-Autumn festival since records began in 1884, with temperatures hitting 33.8 degrees Celsius. Hong Kong Observatory warned that the weather is very hot and urged the public to take precautions such as drinking more water and avoiding vigorous outdoor activities. And back home in West Africa, rescuers in Sierra Leone are continuing to search for more survivors after a 7-story building collapsed in the capital, Freetown, killing at least 8 people. The West African country's National Disaster Management Agency said 6 people had been rescued from the rubble on Shell New Road so far, but more people remain trapped, stating that some of those in the rubble had been able to communicate their locations to the rescuers. The military says the number of people in Myanmar who have died in the wake of the typhoon Yaji rose to more than 220, with nearly 80 others still missing. The storm swept through northern Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, and Myanmar in early September and has killed more than 500 people across the region so far. That's according to official figures. It triggered severe floods and mudslides in Myanmar, leaving at least 226 dead as whole villages were wrecked. A gunman hid for nearly 12 hours in bushes before Donald Trump played an unscheduled game of golf at his oceanfront club in Florida, leaving locals stunned at what authorities say appears to be the second attempt to assassinate the former president in as many months. It was hot and cloudy on Sunday afternoon when Trump and his good friend, real estate developer Steve Woodcock, arrived on the course of Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach. The former president was on the 5th fairway, an area adjacent to busy roads near Palm Beach International Airport, when a member of his protection detail spotted a rifle poking out of foliage by the 6th hole. Trump, who was evacuated unharmed, recounted that he heard probably 4 or 5 shots ring out in the near distance. Again, a second instance of escaping death by the whiskers. In sports, Super Falcons midfielder Ngozi Okobi has announced the birth of her child. The former Eskilstuna of Sweden midfielder announced the arrival of her baby on Tuesday via social media. Chelsea are reportedly considering a move to sign Victor Osimhen before the January transfer window, with the English Premier League club keen to secure the services of the Nigerian striker. The Stamford Bridge Giants, who missed out on the Nigerian striker during the summer transfer window, are said to be closely monitoring the situation at Galatasaray, where he is currently playing on loan from Napoli. And that's all I have for you here on the news. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you again.